Still on the markets and on the economy. Look who's here. Gary Cohn, Chief Economic Advisor to President Trump. So, welcome to the program. Great to have you.
It's great to be here, Stuart.
I got to say, it was a disappointing jobs report. Only 138,000. Your response, sir?
Well, I don't agree with that. If you look at the macro trend here, and you look at the unemployment rate down to 4.3%. We're down to a level we haven't been to since 2001. But look at even the broader index. Look at the U6 number. Since the president's inauguration on January 20th, we've taken the U6 rate down 1%. We've added almost 200,000 people, close to 200,000 people, from the underemployed or the part-time employed to the full-time labor force. The trend that we've got going here is good. Yes, it can be better, and we've said it can be better, and that's why we're spending so much time talking about regulation and the overregulation in the United States. We're talking about tax reform. We're talking about infrastructure. We believe that the White House can drive a much better work and job environment in the United States. So, yeah, there is some very good news in the job report, but we are committed to make it better.
But the writing is on the wall, surely. If you only get, and I use that word deliberately, if you only get 138,000 jobs last month, the writing is on the wall to Congress. Get going. Give us a tax cut, please, because if you don't, we don't get this economy moving. I'm sure you would agree with that point, wouldn't you?
I agree. We're working with Congress. We are still having very constructive meetings with Congress. So there's the group of leaders at the Senate and the House and the White House that are meeting regularly to hammer out a tax plan. We will be delivering a tax plan to Congress by the end of the summer, and we're going to expect the Congress to act on our tax plan this year.
Can I interrupt you? Gary, forgive me for interrupting, but you just said you are going to deliver a tax plan by the end of the summer. That means that the meetings are over. You're drafting the plan as we speak. Is that accurate?
We're working on a plan. You know, Stuart, as you know, these tax plans are very, very complicated. There's lots of details. We've got to do individual taxes, we've got to do corporate taxes, but we also have to do pass-throughs. So we are into the nitty-gritty details of working on tax reform right now. We will have a very detailed drafted tax plan to be delivered to Congress by when they get back from the August recess.
Now, does it have to be paid for? If you cut taxes here, in the immediate future, you'll get less revenue because of those tax cuts. Do you have to make it up with tax increases or revenue increases someplace else? Are you going for that?
Well, sir, we've said consistently and will continue to say we are going to pay for the tax cuts in two ways. We are going to broaden the base dramatically by getting rid of deductions, and we are going to create economic growth by stimulating our economy by lowering corporate tax rates. That's what we're going to do, and we will use those two stimulus to pay for the tax cuts.
If push comes to shove, would you be acceptable? Would you find it acceptable to just cut the corporate tax rate? Get on with it. That's the stimulus. Simple, quick, easy. Maybe Democrats would agree.
Well, look, we need to cut the business tax rate. There's no doubt that in the jobs world we're in today, attracting more businesses and more business operators back to the United States and stimulating more job creation is a top priority for us. And cutting the tax rate along with infrastructure and along with regulation is very important. So yes, cutting the tax rate on businesses is important. It's not as simple as just cutting the corporate tax rate because you have to deal with the pass-throughs that sit between the personal tax rate and the business tax rate.
Okay, but you would consider it a simplified, slimmed down tax cut. You'd consider that?
We're going to consider everything. We are really driven to do the big reform and cut. Reform is still part of our agenda. The president ran on a reform agenda. We need to simplify the tax code. It's way too complicated. As I said before, I want people to be able to sit at their kitchen table and do their tax returns. The fact that we've got to hire tax advisors and tax planners to do our taxes doesn't make sense for America today. We can do better than that. People should be able to sit at their kitchen table and do their taxes. We need to simplify the tax-paying process in the United States.
Sir, I always thought of you as a Democrat, and I thought that was your party affiliation before you joined Mr. Trump in the White House. And here we have Democrats really complaining loudly about our withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord. I think I saw you applauding, though. You think that it's a good thing as a Democrat? You think it's a good thing for the economy that we withdraw?
We are here to drive economic growth in the White House. I came to the White House to help the president's agenda of driving economic growth. And we know that we have to do that, and we know that that's a key imperative. And we know what the ingredients to drive economic growth are. So I'm supportive of the president in driving economic growth.
You know, you're really good on TV. May I say that? I mean, I ask you a question and bang, you answer straight down. You don't deviate. There's no tangents. You don't go off on sidebars. Right at it every time. Always staying on message. Gary Cohn, it's a pleasure. Thanks very much for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
My pleasure as well. Thank you.